Most people picture a courier driving straight onto the tarmac to collect an air freight shipment. That's not how it works. Not for us, and not for most same-day couriers working at Heathrow. There's no walking onto the apron, no driving up to the aircraft. Everything happens landside, through a proper paper trail. Here's what actually happens, start to finish, when we collect from a Heathrow Cargo Shed. It starts before our driver even leaves the yard. The customer arranges clearance through their clearing agent, and that clearing agent issues a release note. Without it, nobody's getting near the shipment. Our driver prints that release note, signs it, and takes it with him to the airline's cargo shed. At the shed, it's not a case of just turning up and loading the van. Our driver's ID gets checked and verified first. Once that's done, he's allocated a specific bay or deck to collect from, and that's where the shipment is loaded onto the vehicle. Every step ties back to the Air Waybill, the AWB. That number connects the release note, the shed paperwork, and what ends up on our van. If any of it doesn't match, the shipment doesn't move. Heathrow's cargo sheds are run by a handful of ground handlers. We regularly work with WFS, dnata, Menzies, Swissport, and IAG Cargo. Each one has its own shed, its own layout, and its own set of unique requirements. Knowing which handler you're dealing with, and getting the requirements correct, is half the job before the van or truck even arrives. We quote a 30 to 60-minute collection window, and that's a realistic figure, not a marketing number. It depends on how quickly the release note and paperwork are ready on the customer's side, which shed and handler you're going to, and what traffic's doing around the airport at the time. A clean run with paperwork sorted in advance sits at the fast end. A shed that's backed up, or documentation that arrives late, pushes it beyond the hour mark. It's worth explaining why all this ID checking and paperwork matters, because it's not just bureaucracy. Around 80% of UK air cargo travels in the belly hold of ordinary passenger aircraft, according to the Civil Aviation Authority, the same aircraft carrying passengers upstairs. Before any of that cargo can be loaded, it has to come from what's called a secure supply chain, a regulated agent or known consignor, checked and listed under Department for Transport Aviation Security rules. That's the reason a release note exists, the reason our driver's ID gets checked at the shed, and the reason the AWB has to match at every stage. It's the system that keeps unscreened cargo off passenger aircraft. To put the scale of this in context, Heathrow handled around 1.59 million tons of air cargo in 2025, worth close to £293 billion. That's more than a quarter of all UK trade by value moving through a single airport. When you're one collection among that volume, getting the paperwork right first time isn't optional. It's what keeps a shipment moving instead of sitting in a shed. The delays we see most often come down to the same handful of things: a release note that hasn't been issued yet, a driver sent to the wrong shed or terminal, details on the AWB not matching the paperwork. Occasionally, the sheds are at full capacity and simply can't handle the release of cargo quickly enough. None of it's complicated. It's just detail, and detail is where time gets lost if nobody's chasing it. That's the real process behind a Heathrow cargo collection. No apron driving, no airside access, just a tight paper trail and drivers who know the sheds. If you've got a shipment moving through Heathrow, call us on 079634 00173 and you can WhatsApp the same number, or get a quote at tclogistics.uk.